Imagine this. The most important meal in history was also the moment everything began to fall apart. A table was set, bread was broken, wine was poured, but in that same room, feet were washed, hearts were exposed, and a denial was already spoken into the future. One night, one table, and decisions that would echo through eternity. This is the night before the cross. Jerusalem was alive. Crowds filled the streets. Voices echoed through narrow alleys. Families gathered. Pilgrims arrived from distant lands. It was Passover, a time to remember deliverance, a time to reflect on sacrifice. But this year felt different. There was tension in the air, because everywhere you went, people were talking about Jesus. Some believed he was the Messiah. Others were watching him closely, waiting for a reason to accuse him. And in the middle of it all, Jesus was preparing for a final meal. Earlier that day, Jesus called two of his disciples aside. His voice was calm, measured, but there was something deeper in it, something intentional. "Go into the city," he told them. "You will meet a man carrying a jar of water." That alone was unusual. In that culture, men didn't usually carry water jars. But Jesus continued, "Follow him. When he enters a house, say to the owner, 'The teacher asks, where is the guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?'" They listened carefully. No questions, no hesitation, because by now they had learned something important. When Jesus gives instructions, everything unfolds exactly as he says. They went into the city, through crowded streets, past merchants and travelers, through the noise and movement, and just as Jesus said, they saw him, a man carrying a jar of water. They followed him quietly, through winding paths, into a house and up a set of stairs. There they found it, a large upper room, furnished, prepared, waiting. Everything exactly as Jesus had said. But something about it felt different, like the room itself knew this moment mattered. As evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. The city outside was still alive with celebration, but inside that room, everything slowed down. The table was set, unleavened bread, wine, bitter herbs, the traditional elements of Passover. They reclined together, close, familiar, like they had done many times before. But this time, Jesus knew something they didn't.
This would be the last meal he would share with them like this. The conversation flowed, laughter, questions, moments of peace. And then, Jesus stood up. No announcement, no explanation. The room grew quiet. He removed his outer robe, took a towel, and wrapped it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin. The disciples watched, confused, because they knew what this meant. This was the job of a servant, not a teacher, not a master, not someone they called Lord. But Jesus didn't stop. He knelt down. One by one, he began to wash their feet, dust-covered feet, worn from the roads, feet that had walked with him but still didn't fully understand him. His hands moved gently, carefully, deliberately. The room was silent. No one spoke, because no one knew what to say. This wasn't normal. This wasn't expected. This was something deeper, something they didn't fully grasp yet. Then he came to Peter. Peter pulled back immediately. "No," he said, his voice firm, almost defensive. "You shall never wash my feet." To Peter, this felt wrong. The roles were reversed. This didn't make sense. But Jesus looked at him calmly and said, "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." The words hit deeply. Everything changed in that moment. Peter's resistance collapsed. "Then, Lord," his voice softened, "not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus gave a gentle, knowing smile. Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. Peter didn't fully understand, but he knew one thing: he didn't want to be separated from Jesus. When Jesus finished, he put his robe back on and returned to his place. He looked at them. "Do you understand what I have done for you?" Silence. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so. But I have set you an example. If I, your Lord, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet." This wasn't just about water. This was about humility, about serving, about a kingdom that operates differently. Then Jesus took the bread. He held it for a moment, looked at them, then broke it. "This is my body, given for you."
The room grew still. Then he took the cup. "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." They didn't fully understand, but something sacred was happening. This wasn't just Passover anymore. This was something new, a covenant not written on stone, but written through sacrifice. Then everything shifted. Jesus' tone changed. "Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." The room froze. Confusion spread instantly. Each one looked at the other, then at themselves. Is it me? Surely not me. Because deep down, they all knew their hearts weren't perfect. Later, Jesus looked directly at Peter. "Simon, Simon," his voice carried weight, "before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me." Peter shook his head immediately. "No, Lord," his voice filled with emotion, "I am ready to go with you to prison and even to death." He meant it, every word. But Jesus knew something Peter didn't. There is a difference between intention and reality. The meal continued, but everything had changed. The laughter was quieter. The thoughts were heavier. The atmosphere different. Jesus had washed their feet, spoken of sacrifice, revealed betrayal, foretold denial, all in one night. Then they sang a hymn, a moment of peace before the storm. And as they finished, they stood, leaving the room behind, stepping into the night, toward Gethsemane, toward betrayal, toward the cross. That night wasn't just about a meal, it was about revelation. Who would serve, who would betray, who would deny, and who would still be loved despite it all. Because even knowing everything that would happen, Jesus still broke the bread, still washed their feet, still loved them to the end. So here's the question. If you were at that table, which part of the story would be yours? The one who serves, the one who denies, or the one who stays? Subscribe for more powerful Bible stories that don't just tell history, they reveal your heart.